Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the world of investing. In this episode, I'm going to talk more about the second of the three ownership investments, and I previously touched on ownership investments in the episode titled The Basics of Investing and Ownership Investments. So, the specific investment that I'm going to be talking about is real estate. So, basically, I guess to sum up why real estate investments are key is a key investment in generating wealth long term, and why it's basically so efficient in doing so. Throughout this episode, I will mention what makes the real estate game attractive, why it's popular, and in turn I'm also going to mention the other side of things, so what makes real estate unattractive to some people. I'm also going to talk about some basic and simple real estate investments to get into if you want to, because I'm trying to keep things relatively simple. Like, that's the goal of the podcast, I guess, to ultimately simplify investing for everyone. An additional thing I will talk about is the specific real estate that actually can be bought, and also which real estate is best to buy. Also, before buying, things to consider, like, for example, economic issues, and these things usually are time relevant. I'll also be looking at other things aside from economic issues. Lastly, but of the last few things, I will touch on how to get a good deal. So, basically, I guess if you get a good deal, then ultimately there's a good chance that you'll make a profit in the end. I'll further touch on that later. Now, lastly, I'll mention inferior real estate investments, so investments to avoid and steer clear of. So, like the last episode, I want to devote one whole episode to real estate to just truly focus on it and help you build knowledge and gain a better understanding of the true value behind these investments. Alright, to start, I'll answer this question. What specific aspects of real estate make it a popular investment? Alright, so there is a limited supply of land. I guess that's the first thing. So growing population results in, of course, higher demand for land. So real estate is attractive in regards to limited land supply because people want land. So by buying and having something that people want, it's a good investment because you can buy land and turn it over for profit. So the desire for land is exemplified in cities such as New York, Chicago, as these areas typically have the highest average housing costs, and the reason for this is the limit of land and the high population density, so the larger quantity of people in this area. So particularly in places where land is significantly limited, it is desired more and can in turn be a good investment. So second, another thing that makes it attractive is due to appreciation and income, which are two major ways to make a profit out of the investment. From appreciation, as time progresses, I previously touched on appreciation, but in regards to real estate, I'll bring it up again. So, as time progresses, real estate investments can increase in value based on how you handle your land or estate. And I guess it's kind of similar to stocks, because just as time progresses, your asset can either, or your investment can either appreciate or depreciate. But commonly for real estate, if you actually take the time and manage your investment properly, so for example, if you buy a house, you can fix it up, then as time progresses, your real estate will appreciate in value. So in regards to income, the second major way of making money off of the real estate investment, you can basically make money by renting off your property to people, in which you will become a landlord. If you're a landlord, you will have to manage tenants, of course, and tend to their needs. So I guess those are things to keep in mind if that's something you're interested in or not interested in. So thus, the fact that there are multiple major ways to make a profit off real estate makes this investment popular. So lastly, the fact that the owner can take action and add value to their investment, that basically makes the real estate investment more attractive, because you basically have control over how your investment performs. It differentiates from stocks, the other ownership investment, because despite how the real estate market performs, because it's more hands-on, and you actually play a role in adding value to your investment rather than depending on the stock market. For example, it's truly out of your hands when you invest in stocks. It's based on the stock market. So these 3 points ultimately make real estate a popular investment. So if real estate is attractive, I guess the question is, why do some people avoid investing in it? There are mainly 2 reasons. The first one being due to the time and effort it takes. As a real estate investor, once again, the owner actually needs to work to add value, along with relying on how the real estate market performs. Additionally, if renting a property, you assume the role of a landlord, which I just said, and that means you're responsible for tenants and their needs. And this can be time and effort consuming, because there could be situations where you just have to constantly tend to their needs. For example, it could be late at night and you can get a call from your tenant. Maybe a pipe is broken and they're relying on you to manage it and handle it. And issues like this may constantly come up, and it's your role and your problem to deal with as a real estate investor. So some people may not like the idea of this, and it may draw them away from investing in real estate. So the second reason is that real estate may just not be interesting to some people. They just may prefer stocks, for example, or simply don't seek to invest in general. Despite these very few reasons, this investment is proved as one of the best investments long term, being one of the major 3 ownership investments. There's a good chance if you tend to your investment, your real estate, and manage it properly, then you will make profit in the long term. So when talking about real estate, what specific real estate should you buy and in turn invest in? Well, there are 3 major types of real estate, I'd say, or at least I will touch on 3 major types of real estate to simplify things. There's residential housing, land, and commercial real estate. To start, the first of the 3, residential housing, is probably the simplest real estate investment. It's relatively easy to understand, manage, and even purchase. Once again, it's common, it's heard of, and I feel that because it's a simple real estate investment, it is best to touch on, because once again, it's my goal to simplify investing. So basically, residential housing is property where people live. This can vary from family homes to condominiums, and basically just anywhere where people live. Regarding residential housing, things to keep in mind are tenants, maintenance, and the appreciation potential. As a landlord, you have to maintain your property and help your tenants. Also, depending on the state that your property is in before you purchase it, it may have a larger appreciation potential. so you can fix up the property and rent it out. I guess to simplify what I just said, so if your property's in poor condition, then it's possible that it can have a large appreciation potential, because if you take action correctly, then you could fix up the house and turn it over for profit. I guess that was an example rather than simplifying it, but whatever works. So the second major type is land, and typically when investing in land, you buy it in an area where hopefully building and I guess establishing structures, areas will happen in those areas. Because after structures are built in buildings, you can sell the land to make a good profit. This option is for if people aren't interested in maintaining a building or tending to tenants. However, making a significant amount of money through this investment can be difficult because it requires large spending on the investor's part. So, I guess prior to investing in land, if you choose to do so, consider the fact that it takes a lot of work. And I mean, residential housing, investing in that can take a lot of work too. But typically land takes, I guess, more work, and it's a little bit more complicated, I'd say. So if you're looking for the simpler real estate investment, I would suggest residential housing. Lastly is commercial real estate. So this real estate investment, the specific real estate investment, is property used for business-related purposes. That's the definition. For example, when investing in commercial real estate, this can mean buying and renting out a small office or warehouse. This is more complicated than investing in residential real estate and also riskier, but it can pay off. It can pay off when commercial real estate is bought at a good time and if it's held for many years. Otherwise, your hopes of making a profit from commercial real estate may not come true. So once again, this investment is a little bit more complicated. So of these three, if you're looking for a relatively simple and profitable investment, I would suggest residential housing. So purchasing property where people live and managing that property as a landlord. Of course, before buying and investing in real estate, it's important to consider a few things. And these things are current economic issues, the real estate market, and the financial projections of the specific real estate you are interested in buying. If these things are not examined, then this could impact the outcome and profit of your investment, possible profit. You are basically blindly investing if you don't consider these things. So first, it's important to look at economic issues to see if this factor will persuade or dissuade people to purchase real estate. Generally, in areas where diverse job bases are maintained, this means that the local economy, at least, is pretty stable and possibly flourishing. In turn, places where jobs are offered attract home buyers because they search for places to live near their job. So this is important to consider because if you invest in real estate in areas where diverse job bases are maintained, then there's a good chance that you will make profit and someone will actually buy your real estate. Second, the real estate market. Obviously, it's important to check in on the real estate market prior to buying real estate. This will basically, I think it's pretty simple, indicate whether it's a good time to invest in real estate. Like the stock market, they say buy low and sell high, so it's somewhat similar. So last comes financial projections. When purchasing property, you should look into financial projections to actually see if it's a profitable real estate investment. There are other factors that impact the profit made from real estate. For example, like fixing up property or actually finding tenants. But the financial projections give, I guess, a general idea of the possible profit you can make and if the real estate investment is a good idea at the time, of course. When it comes to real estate, you clearly want to look for a good initial deal, so something that's affordable and possibly even discounted. So ways to get a good deal can be to find a seller who, I guess, yearns to quickly and desperately sell their property. For example, they may need money for something else, and selling property to you is their way of generating money. In turn, you are benefited because you get a good deal. Another way is to buy unwanted property that has, this is important, fixable problems. Certain properties are sold because they have common flaws, and the sellers are merely too lazy to fix these flaws. So this is where you can take advantage by buying properties for a low price and fixing these problems. So turning the house over for profit is what you would do after you fix these problems. Lastly, I would say buy property when the real estate market is performing not so well, because once again, like stocks, buy low and sell high. When the real estate market flourishes, you will generate profit when selling or renting this property. So there are many ways to get good deals from real estate investments, and there are good ways to make profit from real estate investments. All right, to summarize, real estate investments truly are one of the ownership investments that require or may require more work, but this work pays off as significant profit truly can be generated in the long term. Alright, this concludes this episode. I hope I helped you at least gain a little better understanding of real estate investments. Thank you.